Good morning, everyone, and thank you for showing up today. This is a momentous day for us. As mayor and my fellow council members, our job is the day-to-day quality of life for our citizens, and that starts, number one, first and foremost, with our public safety officials. And any tools that can help our public safety officials do their job are what critical to our existence here in Santa Barbara. We've got some old equipment, old buildings, old everything. Old mayor, actually, from what I understand. But in any case, what we need to do is to replace things, and sometimes that equipment is either not available, really expensive, or just almost doesn't exist anymore. So I really want to thank the federal government, and in particular our Congressman Salud Carbajal, for bringing this funding to us so that we can upgrade and provide the greatest amount of public safety service available to our citizens here in Santa Barbara. And with that, I'd like to introduce Congressman Salud Carbajal.
Thank you, Mayor Rowse. And not quite the same effect when it's a little bit further. And thank you, everyone, for showing up today. Put this over here. I want to thank the mayor for, as you can see, it's not my podium, it's the city's podium. I want to thank the mayor for his leadership and for his partnership in asking our office on an ongoing basis and pointing out the needs that they have and where we should be focusing our attention on. And certainly this was one of those. And of course, our newly minted city manager, 4 months in, Kelly McAdoo, who I've known from another life. And of course, we are privileged to have our lieutenant governor in town, Eleni Kounalakis. Did I say that right? All right. And they will be speaking in a minute. But wanted to, first of all, thank everybody, all of you, for being here. Our first responders, I see our fire, our police, and other first responders here. Thank you for being here. I want to give a warm welcome to our lieutenant governor. This is a reminder that at all levels of government, from our frontline first responders, city, state, and federal government, we are all dedicated to making our communities safer and to remind our communities that we have your safety and well-being in mind every single day as our highest priority. When the city came to me with this request for funding last year, aside from the bat that Mayor Rowse always carries with him, it was a no-brainer because this funding has so many positive effects for our community. By upgrading our radio systems, we will improve response time and reliability to emergencies, disasters, and instances where Santa Barbara relies on its first responders. And to respond to a wide range of scenarios, from our storms and flooding and wildfires to earthquakes, of course, and medical emergencies, crimes, and the work being done to keep guns like drugs and like fentanyl off our streets. I was proud to fight for this investment and to deliver it in the last federal budget. And deliver it, it was one of 14 projects I secured funding for, bringing the total delivered directly for projects like this through recent budgets to more than $50 million for a total of 52 projects throughout the Central Coast. Yes. And that's not to mention $1 billion in infrastructure that we've been able to bring in to date. And a significant number of those projects or investments have been for public safety. I've made that a priority in the funding and efforts that I pursue. This year included funding for new equipment for police departments in Lompoc and in Grover Beach, as well as funding to support crime victims in Ventura County, as well as upgrades to storm drainage systems in Santa Maria. And in the last 2 years, I've also obtained specific funding included in federal budgets to make upgrades to the San Luis Obispo County emergency radio systems, similar to the one here in Santa Barbara. The Santa Barbara Veterans Memorial Building, stabilize the emergency access route on San Marcos Road, and upgrade the emergency pumping infrastructure at Lake Cachuma. Public safety is a top priority for me and all of us standing here before you. It is for everyone. We know that without public safety, our communities cannot thrive. I would like to now turn it over to our distinguished guest, our Lieutenant Governor, Eleni Kounalakis.
Thank you, Congressman. Good morning, everyone. What an incredible pleasure to be here in Santa Barbara. I'm Lieutenant Governor of California, Eleni Kounalakis. I travel the state regularly, and it is always a privilege to be in Santa Barbara, truly one of the most beautiful places in the world, not just in the country. And of course, we are here today, Mr. Mayor and the distinguished congressman, to recognize the incredible efforts of the city and federal government working together under the leadership of Congressman Carbajal to bring this funding back to the district in order to fund an upgrade to the emergency response system so that first responders will be able to have the tools needed in case of an emergency to warn the public and to mobilize in case of an emergency. We have seen in an era of changing, warming climate, extreme weather in the state of California, from wildfires to mudslides to flooding. It is truly a time where we have to invest necessary resources to keep our communities safe, and this project is going to do just that. You heard just now from Congressman Carbajal. I want to recognize as well his work, not just in bringing funding for this project, but you heard him, more than $50 million in projects like this back to the district. Up in Sacramento in the state of California, it is the work of the members of Congress to elevate the needs of California in Washington, D.C., and bring this funding back. So, Congressman, thank you for your leadership on this project and so many others. And I'd also like to recognize that it is the Biden-Harris administration that is prioritizing the needs of California and the importance of California. We are the most populous state in the nation, and we are the 5th largest economy in the world. And what is good for California is good for the nation. So the improvements that the federal government has invested in to improve our electric grid, our roads, our ports, our public transit, water supply, broadband, and so many other elements of our telecommunications infrastructure, tens of billions of dollars are coming into our state to strengthen our communities, to tackle pollution, to support our economy. All of this is truly incredible, and I want to recognize the Biden-Harris administration for their investments in our state. And of course, finally, it is your local government on the ground that implements all of this, that identifies the projects and then moves forward with the implementation, and down, of course, to the first responders who are the ones who will benefit the most in their work. So again, I just want to thank everyone for all you've done to bring us to this point, and it just is such a privilege to be here with you on this day for the announcement, but honestly, any day that I get to come to Santa Barbara is a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for your leadership in the state, keeping our state the beautiful paradise that it is, and working with the Biden-Harris administration to make sure we continue to bring all those resources down to our communities. I also want to recognize Ethan Bertrand, who's here with Senator Monique, with Senator Hart's Assemblymember Hart's office, and Senator Monique Limon. I'm sure her staff are here. I just can't see them. There we go. Thank you. With that, let me now introduce to you the person who actually has the big job in the city of Santa Barbara to make it all work, to make it function, to make all these projects work. And with that, I'll introduce our city manager, Kelly McAdoo.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. And I just want to say a special thank you to Congressman Carbajal for his leadership and his partnership. Although I'm new to the city, it is evident to me in my short time here just his dedication to the city of Santa Barbara and the work he has done to bring critical funding and resources to our community. So incredibly grateful for that. While he said I do all the work, it's actually some other folks who are here that do most of the work, and I want to acknowledge our Fire Chief, Chris Males, our Assistant Police Chief, Marilinda Arroyo, and our IT Director, Justin Cure, who will be the ones leading this project once we get the funding. So thank you. Just some quick notes. Obviously, Lieutenant Governor, thank you for being here. Recognize that Santa Barbara is an incredibly beautiful place, but our unique location comes with some significant public safety challenges. And we also face a number of potential emergencies, natural disasters. And so the 911 system, the ability of our first responders to communicate with each other is critical at any point during the year, but particularly during disasters. And so this funding will help us begin the replacement of an almost 30-year radio system and 911 system. And that really is the backbone of our public safety response system. So we're just so grateful for this funding and really just super supported by Congressman Carbajal and just incredibly grateful. I don't know, Mayor, but I'll introduce, we have Councilmember Eric Friedman and Councilmember Oscar Gutierrez, who are also here from the City Council. So thank you again to Congressman Carbajal, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for being here with us this morning. Thank you.
In closing, let me just say, I think this is what a partnership looks like. The state of California, our local government, the city of Santa Barbara, and in my case, the federal government. I think there's not a day that goes by that we don't complement one another. And we're fortunate to have, I think, extraordinary leaders like the ones that are up here that work day in and day out, putting our communities first. And I think this project is one of those examples of a partnership. So with that, any questions? The Lieutenant Governor would take all the hard questions. We'll take all the easy questions.
Salud, you've been doing these check presentations throughout the district for a while now. You're running out of money, or is this an allotment that you've been allocating or helping to allocate out? And where is that funding source now? You're going to see more.
I think we're going to see at least another 2 to 3 years. There are some programs that are going for 10 years that were funded for 10 years, and a good number of them for 5 years. And I think we're in the middle. We're in the midpoint of that funding stream. So we're going to continue to see substantial funding continue to come to the district for the next 2 to 7 years.
Is there someone that can characterize what this system will really do, what it will mean about the speed of calls or responses? And I don't want to put the police and fire in this spot, but if you can speak.
Let me go to our city manager.
Just want to understand what the technology is to make this really
Sure. So one of the challenges is with a system that's almost 30 years old, we actually are unable to get parts now. It's really challenging to get parts, so the replacement of the system will make it easier to keep it maintained. This particular project will upgrade our dispatch consoles in our 911 dispatch center. We'll also upgrade the radio system that that all of our first responders use. So it's a comprehensive. This is probably about 1/12 of the total funding for the project. It's about a $12 million project total, which will basically completely upgrade the system to modern technologies, make it easier for communication, more reliable, battery backups for the different repeaters throughout the area.
You personally have been impressed with the technology a police car or fire truck has, based on what we've seen over our lifetimes?
I think we're clearly. I think this system is clearly in need of replacement compared to what I've seen in other parts of the state. It's an older system, and I think given our location, that ability for the backup system, and if one of the radio towers goes down, the ability for other towers to step in and provide that backup. So I think it's crucial that we continue to seek out other grant funding, but also look at partnerships with the county in terms of building out this entire system for support of the community.
And at the end of the day, what does all this funding mean? Jobs, jobs, jobs. Let's not forget the economic factor and the infusion of money that this means for our local economy. So, no more hard questions, John?
Well, for the Lieutenant Governor, what else are you doing here? What brings you to Santa Barbara besides this? It kind of speaks to maybe you're doing something else.
I am, that is true. So I'm a member of the State Lands Commission. The State Lands Commission for the state of California oversees about 5 million acres of California land. Most of that is submerged. Most of that is up to 3 miles off the coast of California. And yesterday I had the opportunity to walk down the pier out to the Rincon Island, thank you, which was quite an experience. And we are working very hard to phase out some of that legacy offshore oil drilling off the coast here. That's very important to your community. You've borne the brunt of some of that legacy drilling, and we have several of these platforms and islands where the wells have been plugged and abandoned, but we have to really think to the future of what a property like that can be used for. And so that hearing is going to take place this afternoon, and it's open to the public, so I invite people to come down and listen to what state government is doing in that space here that will affect you.
Thank you all very much for coming. Appreciate you.